Hey lovelies! Now I know a lot of us this month are focused on getting our eating back on the right track, and as always, I am here to help you do just that. Today I'm sharing 3 quick, easy, and delicious ways to get more fish and seafood into your diets. We all know we should probably be eating more fish and seafood because it's super good for us. Now you guys might not know this about me, but I actually spent almost 10 years as a pescatarian, so I've got lots of yummy inspiration to draw from, including the 3 delicious recipes you are going to see today. Now speaking of pescatarianism, if you are interested, our 4-week pescatarian meal plan is actually 25% off all month long over on healthymealplans.com, our amazing meal planning site. This meal plan was developed by our in-house dietitian and features some of my very favorite fish and seafood recipes, as well as loads of vegetarian options for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner to keep things interesting. If you want to give it a try, the best part is it's totally customizable. So if you wanted to replace this yummy shrimp stir fry with, say, these delicious mango fish tacos, you totally could. What is not to love about that? I'll link all the details in the description box below. And now without further ado, let's get to our first fish recipe of the day, this incredible pan-seared halibut with an amazing lemon caper sauce. Now I'll definitely say halibut is one of my very favorite types of fish. It's got a nice firm texture plus a really mild flavor that makes it perfect for people who are maybe not huge fish lovers, but it can be a little on the pricey side. So I always look for it on sale. If I can't find halibut on sale, what I'll usually do is swap in some cod or some sole instead. Both are great options. Now I'm gonna start by just seasoning my halibut fillets with a little bit of salt and some pepper, because sometimes the simplest flavors are actually the best flavors. Then I'm just going to get a little bit of oil into my skillet on the stove. Now I'm using my cast iron skillet here, but you could swap in non-stick if you wanted to. It will make cleanup just a bit easier. Totally your call though. And then as soon as my oil is nice and heated through, I'm going to lift my halibut up and into the pan top side down. So where the salt and pepper is, that's gonna be the side that heads into the pan. You can hear a nice little sizzle. The most important thing here is to exercise some patience, because if you try to flip your halibut too early, it will tend to shred and sort of fall apart, and that is not what we want. You know it's ready to flip when that nice golden crust has been created and it releases really easily from the pan. I always get a little anxious when it comes time to flip, but I think these are ready for a good turn. Now guys, if you do not have one of these fish spatulas, you definitely want to get one. So on my kitchen essentials list, they are the best tool for dealing with fish. They really are able to sort of get under and lift it up without disturbing anything. And as you can see, my halibut looks amazing. It's nice and golden on this side. And we're just gonna give that skin another 2 to 3 minutes to cook up. So this is amazing. I would say this is done. The good part about fish, of course, is that it cooks up really, really quickly. We are just going to get it out of the pan. Keep it close by because we're actually going to be putting it back into the pan once we've made our amazing lemon caper sauce. So to do that, I have got some butter headed right into the same skillet, and we're gonna follow that up with some garlic, because guys, you know how I feel about garlic? Once my garlic is nice and fragrant, I'm gonna go ahead and add some white wine to this. I love cooking with white wine because of course it adds such great flavor. If you're not into wine, you can definitely leave it out. I'm going to let that wine cook down for 2 or 3 minutes just until a lot of the alcohol has had a chance to evaporate. And then it's time to get some lemon happening in here. I'm using both the zest and juice, so we get lots of great lemony flavor. Then I'll add my capers to this. Now, if you're not familiar with capers, they're pickly and tart and tangy and perfect with fish dishes. And then my final ingredient is just going to be some freshly chopped parsley. Once all of that yumminess has come together, I'm going to add my halibut back into my pan and then use a spoon just to spoon that buttery mixture on top of it. At this point, your halibut will just need a minute or so to heat through, and then it is ready to be served. I like serving it up simply with a side salad, but you could definitely do this with some rice or potatoes. Lots of great options for sides here. Super, super yummy, guys. You should definitely try it on a busy weekday just for the halibut. Next, lovelies, for something bright, vibrant, and super fresh and flavorful, I am making this amazing miso ginger salmon salad. Now, you guys know how I generally feel about salad. This one I will make an exception for. It's really, really flavorful. And of course, it all starts with a really wonderful dressing. Now, I am starting with some rice vinegar in my bowl. And to that, I'm going to add some avocado oil. Avocado oil has become my new favorite oil in all of my salad dressings because it's a little less potent than olive oil, but still has great heart healthy fat, so I use a ton of it in my cooking these days. Then I'm going to add some honey to this. You could also do this with some agave if you wanted to. Just need to add a good hit of sweetness to offset the savoriness of our miso paste. Once that's in, we're going to add a splash of sesame oil here. Then the real secret to making this dressing magic is my miso paste. If you're not familiar with miso paste, you can usually find it in the same section of the supermarket as your tofu. It's a soy-based paste. It's really, really savory. It's what they make miso soup out of, so you know it's gonna be good. Then for even more great fresh flavor, I have got some freshly grated ginger headed into my dressing, and I'm gonna finish this off with a good helping of grated garlic as well. I will just say this garlic clove is enormous, so I'm only probably going to use about half of it, but you do you. I never ever judge how much garlic people add to their food. Unless it's too little, then I definitely judge. More garlic is always better. Once our garlic is in there, we are going to whisk it all up until that miso paste is well incorporated, and we can just set this aside while we get to work on just searing up our salmon fillets. I've got 2 4-ounce fillets here, and I'm just going to season them with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Next, I'm going to heat up my cast iron skillet over medium-high heat and get some oil in there. Once that oil is nice and hot, I'm going to get my salmon in the pan topside down and let that cook up for 3 to 4 minutes. Just like the halibut, we want to create a bit of a golden crust, and you'll know that your salmon is ready to flip when it releases easily from the pan. At that point, we're going to get it onto its skin side and let it cook up for another, say, 3 to 4 minutes. Once your salmon is cooked to your liking, you can transfer it over to a plate and allow it to cool a little bit while you get to work on putting your salad together. Now for the base of this salad, I'm using some arugula, some mixed greens would also work here if you wanted to do that. I'm also going to pile on some microgreens. I've become a big fan of microgreens lately, and I can almost always find them at my supermarket now. Not only are they really pretty, but they pack some great nutrition as well, so you should definitely add them to all of your salads. On top of my microgreens, I'm going to be loading on some nice crunchy cucumber. I'm using mini cucumber that I've thinly sliced. Next, for a little bit of sweetness and some really beautiful color, I've got some very thinly sliced mango. You could do this in chunks if you want to, but I love the slices of mango. They just look really, really pretty. On top of that, I'm going to be adding even more protein and fiber with some shelled edamame. I usually buy the frozen kind, thawed out, and then just pile it on top of my salad. I'm going to give my entire salad a really good drizzle with that amazing miso ginger dressing. And then it's time to pile my salmon on top. As you can see, I've just flaked it up with a fork, and I'm just going to load it on. And oh my gosh, guys, when they talk about eating the rainbow, I'm pretty sure this is the recipe that they're referring to. It's so beautiful, bright, fresh, colorful, and honestly tastes just as good as it looks. Finally, for you shrimp lovers out there, I have got a super fast weeknight dinner idea for you that packs a ton of great flavor. It is my honey lime shrimp, and you guys know I love cooking shrimp on weeknights because it cooks up in an absolute flash. Now, just before we get our shrimp in our skillet, I'm gonna work on making our amazing honey lime sauce for this shrimp. I have got some honey hanging out in my bowl, and to that I'm going to add my lime. So it's important when you are making this recipe that you use both the zest and the juice of your lime, because you want maximum lime flavor, and let's be honest, you get the best lime flavor from that zest. I'm also going to be adding a little bit of soy sauce to this for some savoriness, as well as some freshly grated ginger and some minced garlic. That is as simple as it gets. We'll just give that a whisk and set it aside while we turn our attention to the stove. I've got some oil heating up in a nice big skillet here, and I'm just going to get my shrimp into the pan and let it cook up for say 3 or 4 minutes. That's really all it takes. What I love about shrimp, in addition to how fast it cooks, is that it's got a built-in mechanism to tell you when it's done. How very convenient. So it's basically going to go from gray and translucent to pink and opaque, and that's when you know it is time to get your sauce into the pan. Basically what we want to do is let that sauce cook up for say 3 or 4 minutes. Now as that sauce cooks, it's going to reduce and become nice and thick and syrupy and really start to coat that shrimp, and that's where the real magic happens. To finish this off, I'm going to give it a good squeeze of fresh lime juice to brighten up all the flavors, and also stir in some freshly chopped cilantro. And now it's ready to be enjoyed. I usually like serving it up over a little bit of rice, but you could also serve it with a salad if you wanted to keep it on the lighter side. Word to the wise, it also makes excellent lunch leftovers for the next day, so go ahead and make a double batch and you've got lunch taken care of. Guys, I hope you will give all 3 of these delicious recipes a try, and if you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Facebook me a photo, because you know how much I love seeing your kitchen creations. Keep in mind, all 3 of these yummy recipes are being featured on healthymealplans.com. If you're not familiar with our awesome meal planning site, I really hope you will check it out. Finally, if you have not already, be sure to subscribe, because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.